Good afternoon and welcome. It's really nice to welcome you to this presentation. I'm Dr. Erica Sanchez. I'm Deputy Head of School from Anglia Ruskin University. I basically lead the discipline in Information Science and Security within Anglia Ruskin at the School of Computing and Information Science, but I have had experience in cybersecurity for many, many years. So it is my pleasure today to talk to you about, the cybersecurity landscape and how cybersecurity is currently at the moment as perhaps something as an option for some of you to study, or why is it important, cybersecurity, at this point. Okay, so let's paint a picture, paint the scene of cybersecurity so far. Now, I'm going to use one study that we can find online. This was created by Fortinet, and Fortinet is one of those big companies in cybersecurity, specializes in providing solutions for cybersecurity and organizations. So some highlights maybe to present from this report is that we can see that malware attacks, so we're talking about malicious software, phishing scams, and AI-driven threats continue to be increasing day by day. Now, and we will see later on that phishing continues to be one of the most successful attacks, let's say, throughout cybersecurity and cybercrime. Now, this means that AI it has become one of these elements that is driven cybersecurity threats, and it's creating more and more resources for hackers to attack different systems. So these malware attacks and phishing scams continue to grow, and we will see that is the case in the future. Now, this, of course, doesn't mean anything if we are just talking about numbers in terms of number of attacks increasing and so on. However, when we start seeing it in terms of money lost and how it is impacting companies, that's when we see the real impact. And actually, when you work in cybersecurity and when you want to talk to your CEOs or the heads of all the companies, they will understand the impact of cybercrime by talking to them in terms of business impact. So we can see here that according to IBM, the global average cost of one single data breach was around $4.88 million in 2024. Now, so we are talking about quite a big hit by just one data breach that one company suffered. Now, as I said before, generative AI, or this new, well, not new technology, but this technology that we have seen arise in the last few years, and advanced tools is now making it necessary for companies to invest more in cybersecurity. So before, the solutions that we had were quite straightforward: firewalls, antiviruses, and so on, that were using traditional technology. But now we are seeing companies needing more sophisticated or advanced tools that are driven as well by AI. So that means that they need to invest more in cybersecurity tools. Now, the cost of cybersecurity defenses is increasing as well. So it's not only about the impact of being affected by a data breach as such, but if we want to protect the business, then we need to invest, and that investment is becoming more and more expensive. As I said before, AI-powered tools are helping organizations. So the good news is that AI is on our side, and organizations can see that they have been able to identify and prevent and respond to cyber threats more effectively. However, we also see on the other side that cyber criminals are using AI tools as well to improve the sophistication of their attacks. Now, so we can see now malware injected into AI-generated images, and this malware also is created using AI. So that means that it can protect itself more from being discovered. No? So AI tools are changing the way that these cyber attacks are behaving, and that means that we need to change the way that we are protecting our companies. Now, in terms of industry types, now I'm not going to go through all the different industries, so I have divided it in different ones, as you will see. But you will see a common denominator as you start looking at the different statistics by industry type. So, for example, in healthcare, there were around 630 ransomware incidents that impacted healthcare in the world in 2023. And we expect to see a similar number or something a bit higher for 2024 and 2025. So it might not sound as a big number, but in comparison to other years, this represents a big increase. Here in the UK, we had the WannaCry attack a few years ago, but it's still being mentioned because of the impact that it created within healthcare. So we can see more and more of these type of attacks affecting healthcare. And also, we can see that the average cost that these kind of attacks or any data breach in this sector went around 10.93 million per incident. Now, so again, a big amount and cost for healthcare institutions. And if you're talking about nationalized institutions, then that cost represents a very big hit. Remember, we're talking about numbers in terms of dollars, no? So we need to convert them in our currency to understand the impact. And in terms of the industry in banking, and this is again something that affects you as an individual. So we could see that over 880,000 customers around the world were hit by online scams. And this represented around $12.5 billion in losses. So this is one of the most common things that we are seeing now in the UK, online scams and customers being hit in online banking. So more protections are being put in place to avoid that. No? Also, we can see that there was a confirmation that financial institutions were continue to experience ransomware, and it increased from 2021 to 2024. So that means that in 2024, 65% of the financial organizations worldwide reported experiencing a ransom attack. Now, so as you can see, it wasn't such a big increment from 2023, so 1% more of the organizations reported this. But if we compare it to 2021, there was a big jump, from 34% to 65%. And as I said before, these numbers will continue to increase. As I said, as we go through the different sectors, we see a similar image. So education is being affected. Here in the UK, the Department for Science and Innovation and Technology found out that 70% of secondary and 52% of primary schools suffered a cyber attack in the past year, something that we didn't used to see before, schools being targeted. Now that's something very common, and we see more and more institutions at this level struggling to find a way to solve this issue. And it was also mentioned that phishing was the most common incident. So again, 92% of the primary schools and 89% of secondary schools experience a phishing attempt. So this is a big number if we think about it. Manufacturing, the main issue has been ransomware, and this was one of the sectors that was more targeted with this type of attacks. Of course, we are talking about not only critical infrastructure, but we're talking about manufacturing as such. So this represents, again, a big number in comparison in previous years, and phishing continues to be the main issue. So phishing attempts or phishing is the main reason why these attacks are being successful. So just going very quickly through retail and government, the same story: phishing, ransomware, increase in the number of attacks. So as you can see, the problems are there. And it's not that we have managed to stop them or find a solution against them, but we will see now more and more an increase in these type of attacks. But I think in here, the most important part to highlight is that ransomware continues to be the biggest issue, and phishing continues as well as one of the main elements that are allowing cybersecurity attacks to be successful. So this puts a big question on how to protect. And I think I put at the lowest level the most important part. The most important thing, let's say, or tool that companies, industry, organizations around the world have in order to protect against cyber attacks is awareness, especially if we continue seeing that phishing attacks are the most prevalent ones. So creating awareness on how to identify these attacks and to identify future attacks becomes quite important. So awareness plays a very important part in here. So education is the biggest part. However, of course, organizations should have a robust cybersecurity infrastructure. In order to achieve that, they need to have qualified members of staff who know how to set up that robust cybersecurity infrastructure. So as you can see, we go back to the element of knowledge, awareness, and cybersecurity skills. Advanced monitoring tools, such as SIEM, combined with AI-driven analytics or AI-driven solutions are also important. But this represent, as I said before, a cost to any organization. So it could be that not all organizations will be able to afford this kind of protection. So awareness and other type of tools are needed for this kind of companies. We're talking about small businesses and so on. One thing that these small businesses need to do is to audit the existing cybersecurity systems and implement solutions to strengthen them. So this is a continuous work. It's not about auditing our system at this point and leave it as such because we identified it as secure, but it means every year or every so often, regularly, especially as we can see the progress of different cyber attacks, it is necessary to keep auditing the system or our cybersecurity systems to identify whether or not they can deter and protect our systems. So that's relevant to the point below, which is frequent audits. So we need to continue doing that, and we need to ensure that our systems can protect us from these cyber attacks, and especially from new cyber attacks, emerging technologies, etc., etc. As technology continues to progress, we will see that hackers will find a way to use that technology against us, and that has been the story throughout many, many years. But awareness remains the most essential part. That one should be at the top, and have someone within the organization that is knowledgeable and skillful in cybersecurity is extremely important if you want to avoid this type of attacks. But everyone within the organization must have awareness. So let's, staying in the topic of awareness and preparation and filling that gap or understanding of cybersecurity, I want to present very quickly the different professional certifications that are out there available for anyone to prepare for cybersecurity. So it's not only about doing a degree in the topic, but it's also gaining that practical knowledge through maybe a certification. And the good point about certifications is that they are recognized by industry. So I have put some examples in there, but in the following slides, we can see some roadmaps. So for example, if you want to follow the roadmap of cybersecurity, you have different levels of certifications in CompTIA, which is one of the most recognized certifications throughout the industry. So there are some beginner level certifications or entry level certifications. And then as you progress in your career or in your preparation, you can take some of the more intermediate, advanced, and expert. So at the moment, we would say Cybersecurity Plus would be the one that most of the companies are looking for somebody that has just recently graduated from cybersecurity. EC Council, it's another recognized professional standard of certifications. So the same as CompTIA, they have specific paths that you can follow in order to gain different job roles. So for example, if you're looking at the role of a security architect, they suggest different certifications that someone can take in order to gain that practical knowledge and understanding of expected in a security analyst or security architect. So as I said, just going back very quickly, all the information you can find it online. CompTIA, as I said, is widely known. EC Council, again, is also widely known. ISC2 is mainly started in the US, but it has now become global. So you can find more information online. Entry-level, CompTIA and EC Council are the ones that are most considered ones. ISC2 are the ones that are considered more professional. So depending on the journey that you want to follow, you can select the different qualifications available or certifications available. Now, in terms of career paths, and this is taken from the UK Cybersecurity Council. As I said before, cybersecurity is a very, very wide topic. It covers many different areas, and it's impossible to specialize in every single one of them. So what the UK Cybersecurity Council did is they identified the different needs within the UK and defined the cyber career framework with 15 specialisms in cybersecurity. So digital forensics is one of the skills that are most needed within the UK, alongside security testing and so on. So again, I have put the link in here if you want to go and check every single one of these pathways, and it will explain the expectations for every single one of them. But there's also those that are defined by the SANS Institute. So this would be in the US. They are very similar to the ones that they have identified here in the UK, but you can see all the different roles that you could gain if you go through different specialisms within the cybersecurity area. Now, in terms of career pathways and salary expectations, so I have just listed the 10 most defined by Indeed.com. Indeed.com is one of the job adverts, or let's say places where companies advertise jobs here in the UK. So you will see there the different roles that are available at the moment, together with the salary expectations per year. No, it doesn't look quite big. This is average, of course, salary. You will find cybersecurity interns that maybe are earning more than an information security architect, but this projects the different skills needed at different level. No, so if you want to earn the big money, this will be if you're doing an information security architect pathway. The salaries are here in pounds, British pounds, so you will need to translate it into dollars, but there's not much difference. But again, this is the average. No, so it might not look like a big earning, but this is the entry level earning. As you progress in your career, that salary starts to be better. Now, one of the things that they asked me to talk about is about the support we provide at Anglia Ruskin University for placements. And well, basically, I just wanted to put the some bullet points of the things that we do in here, that we do in order to support our students when they're going through a placement and to get a placement. Now, it's very important to highlight that students are responsible for finding the placements. We do have some partnerships with local and national employers, And as soon as an opportunity arises, we make this opportunity available to our students. But it is also the responsibility of the student to try to find that placement that it suits the goals of their degree. Okay, so our support team, we have a specific placements team, and they support you, as I said, by providing you with opportunities that our partners have published. They support you in preparing for gaining that opportunity. So we offer workshops, seminars, one-to-one support in order to help you for CV writing, interview skills, presentation skills, communication skills, and so on. Very quickly, also as part of the support that we provide, we implement live briefs within some of our modules. So this basically means that some companies, like the ones that you can see in this slide, they partner with our module leaders to create the assessment information. So I particularly work with JONT, which takes care of the European network for research here in Europe. And I teach networking technologies. So together with JANT and myself, we put together a case study that our students need to solve. No? And the interesting part in here is that they are not only working with a real case scenario, but they are also participating or networking with the employer, presenting to them, engaging, and so on. So that builds their employability skills. No? But you can see that we have many partners, and this list, thankfully, continues to grow. So in conclusion, you will be happy to hear that I'm almost done. So cybersecurity skills are and will continue to be in demand. We can see that their organizations will have a need in cybersecurity, so they need to be prepared to tackle existing and emerging attacks. Studying cybersecurity would be a smart move for many reasons. So first of all, you will have a high demand and job security because everyone will need security in place, even small businesses. You saw competitive salaries depending on the pathway that you want to follow. It has an impact and a purpose. It's a career that is very rewarding in that sense. Constant learning and challenge, just as in any career in IT, and especially in cybersecurity, there are always so many things to learn, and it's an evolving process. No? So you will continue to learn. As we saw, there are diverse career paths. So depending on your strengths and skills, you can choose the best one for you. It has global relevance, especially if you seek a certification, you will be able to, well, those certifications are recognized around the world. So if you have a CISP certification, it will be identified here in the UK, in the US, or anywhere that you go for a job. And you have cross-industry opportunities. Now, so we saw that from healthcare to education, retail, cybersecurity is needed. So I hope that you found this information helpful, interesting, and useful. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And as I said, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the hosts, and they will send me your questions and I will respond to them offline. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your day.